Right, bastards. Today I want to talk about something that a lot of people, especially preppers, do not actually think about. But in my opinion, it's very important. This is something I talked about in my videos about EDC, and that is about the functions of doctex. I want to go make a specific video about this because, yeah, it deserves its own video, to be honest, because yeah. uh Dog tags, why would you want to wear dog tags? Why are these used? Dog tags are usually made used in the military for when a soldier dies. uh there are two sets of identification plates. One gets taken by a soldier and given to the officer who will who will write it in the records so that it can go to the bureaucracy, and the families and the military can be warned that the soldier has died. And if you take one of the plates away, like they did, and leave the second plate on the body, later when they found they can give the a funeral or a burial to the fallen soldier, they would see to the body, oh, the first dog tag is taken away, so he's already processed in the records. So the second plate is to identify the body itself, so it can be taken away for, like I said, funeral, or be buried at a location, and and the information could be put on a tombstone or a cross or something. So that's the use of a dog tag. Another use is for some information for prisoners of war. Yeah, prisoners of war, that the information they are allowed to give to the enemy when they are captured, so they can be processed for prisoner exchange, or the bureaucracy again, yet again, or for when the soldier is wounded and he needs to get a blood transfusion. It's the blood type stands on the plate. So those are all things you can do with that are being used for as for dog tags for by the military. But why would dog tags be useful for preppers? Well, like I said quick in my video about about EDC on a personal level, dog tags can be used for a lot of survival uh, situations. Actually, imagine just every day you have an accident. Yeah, and you fall. Wait, you know what? Let's first talk about what stands on the plate, so we can go these points by one. So on the dog tags, uh, you can. It's best to put on the. How do you say this? Uh, yeah, if you're from the first thing that usually stands on by the military of Belgium is a Belgian army. That is a direction for in case you get for when, yeah, the the military person gets wounded on the battlefield, but also in a regular civilian life. Because if a soldier get wounded, is even as a civilian, he would usually be transported directly or as quick as possibly to the military hospital. So if you're in the military, then it's very handy that it makes clear that you're from the military. So together with Belgian army, there should also be your I don't know the the English name for this for stamnummer, but it's like your identification number in the army that you always give with your paperwork and bureaucracy, and when you're called off for information. So that is also very important, like I said, for the military hospital, or in case you get in a regular hospital and you need to be transferred to a military hospital because you're a military member. So that's stands on it. Next, your birth date. Yeah, that's just for helping for identifications. So how do you say this? Uh, just for a verification. So if they only would see your name, and there is somebody else who has exactly the same name, it would be very unlikely that that person with the same name as yours, by any chance, has the same birth date. So that's something so they can reference check. And it's also handy for certain, if you get wounded by a car accident, if you are victim of aggression by a robbery or something, on the street, or you're just fallen ill, heart attack, who knows what. These things can all happen in a civilian life. If they know your age, they can change the treatment to what you need, because an older person might perhaps is able to survive, is less chance of survival of a certain medical procedure than a younger person perhaps, or because you're older you cannot have this kind of medication. So those things are something they need to take in account when they foresee a life-saving treatment. And of course, in the middle, your name. Yeah, it is just obvious, because if you go to a hospital and they can check your name, your birth date, and yeah, like I said, your blood type. These are very handy for when you get, like I said, in a car accident, you're a victim of aggression. So they can look at your records, and they can give you the best, the most, how do you say this? The best medical procedure for the situation, because if you they can look into your medical records, if they know your name, and they will know he's allergic to those medicines, he's allergic to those things. He has been in the past, he has been he's been he has this kind of medical or surgical procedures. So that's handy for to know where the problem might lie, or when yeah, where what kind of treatment they can give, because if you have a certain medical procedure in the past, it's detrimental to the next procedure that might save your life, or they need to look at alternatives. Perhaps they can also watch if you are on some sort of medication that you probably need, because like people who have a heart attack and they go into the hospital, perhaps they need that certain type of medication, or insulin, or some other uh, type of prescription medicine that you are on. So, and of course, the next thing, the blood type. If you are wounded and you need a quick, very direct blood, the how they say this, a blood transfusion, then it's very important that they know exactly what kind of blood type. If they know your name, yeah, then they can look it in the records. But if the paramedics who do not have these kind of computers or dialect communications to know what kind of blood type that you have by just looking at the name, it can be life saving that your own blood type is on it. And even in just general life, how do you say this? Survival situations, it can be important, because if you are wounded during a war where there are no professional medicals perhaps around because of the chaos of the battles, or you're on a hike, or you're in a foreign country where they are not having communication links with your records from another country, then it can be then they can make a makeshift or an improvised blood transfusion with somebody else at in the direct area. If they know you're a blood type, you're that, like I'm blood type O negative, and somebody else is that, we can exchange blood and save. I can not only They can not only save my life, but I can also perhaps save another life if I know what kind of blood type I have and I have a proof for it to say against the doctor. So these are all just things that are very handy. A little bit more grim thought is, if you are the victim of a murder, if you are crashed in the middle of nowhere, if you are drowned at sea, if you drown at sea and you wash ashore, if you have dog tags around your neck, the police can identify your body very quickly, and perhaps and they can inform your family about it directly, so your family will not live years wondering where you were. So that's also a grim, but yeah, I find it's important that's possible, that your family will not be living years in a in fear to know what they if you're alive, if you're not alive, what your faith was. So yeah, that's something also important that dog tags can be needed for. Um, Two practical things you can do for your EDC with dog tags is yeah, yeah, I will talk about those first. First of all, you can make this into a makeshift knife by taking the rubber off and try to make the edges sharp by scraping on stone, or you can do it at home and just put some like these rubber bands around it, so you do not cut yourself, but you can sharpen one side, because if you do the whole side and you follow it, just you have a lot of chance that you slit open your own throat. So just do a little side so you can use it in case of a self-defense, or to cut a piece of wire, or like in a survival situation or a hike or during hiking. It can be it's possible to make a useful thing about this if you are carefully with it. So if you like when you're being attacked or captured, these things perhaps they do not take away from you, and you can use it to escape with it if you sharpen a piece of edge of this. Um, the next thing is, and it is just an idea, is making the dog tags out of silver. So if you have to bug out, or if you are in a foreign country where you perhaps can be robbed, or you need to, it's kind of dirty to say, but some countries, the local police and how do we say this, government people will ask for bribes if you want to pass somewhere, or if they keep you there as almost a sort of ransom. It happened to my uncle. So this could be very handy if this made out of silver, so you can barter with it, is the thing. So even in a bug out situation, um, you can barter with it if these two pieces are made of silver. Yeah, that's quite valuable. So you have a little bit of your capital with you always at any time, or you can give it in a, how do you say this? So if you need something from somebody else, so like you need to borrow a phone, a car, or gasoline or something else, and you cannot pay directly for it, you can give this in exchange, and with the promise that you bring it later back. So it's like collateral is the word, I think. You can use this as collateral for when you need something in a survival situation, and especially when your name is on it. So it's like a kind of a debt card that you can use it for. All right. Um, but the next thing I want to say about dog tags is always use dog tags with rubber. How do you say this? Rubber bands around it, because like you can hear, you do not hear this. And if you're in a bug out situation or in some other situation where you do not want to be heard, the last thing you want is to hear these two metal plates clinging against each other and making a lot of noise. So especially when you're being stealthy, it's very handy, and also for your chest, because sometimes you do not want to let these things scrape against your chest, picking out hairs. This could happen with metal edges of some dog tags. So always put these rubber things around it, and always and never forget to take these with you, because the day that you probably gonna need them, or wish you would have them with you, like I said, for when you win it, make it a habit that you're always wearing this. And the last thing is, it's kind of a fashion statement. I mean, who doesn't want this around their neck? It's kind of, it's not only practical, but it's also a little bit fashion. And I know what some people will say about this. They will say, I don't wear, I would, it's stupid to wear something like this, because people will know who you are. They will read it. They will know that you're a prepper. They will know your name, and find your address. Or criminals will come after your family if they capture you or something. Well, that's gonna happen anyways, one way or the other. If you're being captured as a civilian, is what I'm saying. As a soldier, that's a different piece of story, because of the Geneva Convention and the prison of war rules. But as a civilian, there's not much bad things you can do with it. And also, actually handy is for when your wallet is stolen and you need to identify yourself to the police, to skip some bureaucracy. And it's some kind of proof, because if you just say, my name is da, 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 and they will have to take a lot of time to check all this information to see if you speak the truth. If you say this is my name and you have something to prove that this is your name, and with more information, so they can make the search in the records a lot of easier. The procedures will be a lot quicker. Yeah, there's not much else to say about this, I guess. So yeah, this is perhaps a short video, but it's just something that is been overlooked a lot by a lot of people and even preppers. So uh, subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Leave a comment if you have other ideas of practical uses for dog tags in a survival or prepper situation. Yeah, and like and all that stuff. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.